minutes, and they say, how much time do I have? How much time do I have? Sounds like me at the doctor's office. I remember my first day in high school, and I went to the gym class. And the gym instructor said, boys, when you go up for the basketball, the first thing you gotta do is protect the family jewels. So I went to the locker room, put away my bar mitzvah ring. But wait, he wasn't talking about that. He was talking about my private parts. And he called them jewels. And this made me so proud. My family jewels. He called them my family jewels. I bought these tight-fitting pants. I didn't take them off for 4 years. And I walked down the street every day and I said, my family jewels. These are my family jewels. Hey girls, my family jewels. And now what do they call it? You know what they call it? Junk. What the hell happened? How did it get so devalued from jewels to junk? It's got to have something to do with supply and demand. At least if they gave it a little value, call it a tchotchke. That means a little plaything. But it's got to be supply and demand. And I think what it is, it's all these guys that send naked pictures of themselves to the girls. And the girls get dick pics, 30, 40 a day. They're bored to shit. They get them all day. Seen that, seen that, seen that. And where does it go? Junk mail. Debbie mentioned about my winning the contest. And the funniest Jewish comic contest. And it's not as impressive as it sounds because there wasn't that much competition. Just 3 comics in the finals. Me and 2 Muslims. And one of them, you couldn't even hear the punchline behind the burqa. Such a strange young man. But anyway, they told me I would get lots of gigs. And I was waiting and waiting, and finally I got one. And where do I get it? In an Irish pub. The week of Christmas. And there it is, now appearing, funniest Jewish comic of 2016 at Barney McNabb's. Christmas week, and they had signs all over saying, let's put the Christ back in Christmas. So I started my own movement, let's put the Chut back in Hanukkah. And I meant it, because, you know, we're getting too soft. What's this Happy Hanukkah? It's for sissies, it's Hanukkah. And you know that wonderful French toast, the wonderful bread that you make for French toast? It's not challah, it's challah. And you know, somebody who's obnoxious, nerve to the nth degree, he doesn't have chutzpah, he has chutzpah. And while we're at it, you know those guys that dress a little strangely with the long black coats and the beard and the high hat? You know, the ones that some people say just the sight of them makes their stomach turn. It's not acid reflux. It's just prejudice. I was a clinical psychologist for over 35 years, and as comics hear about it, they come over to me with personal questions. The other day, one of them asked me, when is it considered kinky sex, and when is it a perversion? Which is an excellent question. I said, if you have sex and you use a couple of feathers, that's kinky. If you use the whole chicken, bingo! And then I found out he was the night manager at Popeyes. And then they're always asking me, what's some unusual cases? So one of them is a young man, half Japanese, half Jewish, a Jew. And it was a classic case of identity confusion. And he certainly was confused. Every December 7th, he would attack Pearl Schwartz. And I even had strippers that came to my office for consultation, and they were dressed like they were getting ready to go to work. And I'm very good at diagnosis. I diagnosed them as being bipolar, but I was off by one. They used 3 poles. Little mistake. And their complaint was they felt their vagina was getting smaller. And when I asked them what made them think that, they said, it seems as if the dollar doesn't go as far as it used to. Also, as a psychologist, I'm really infatuated with the whole Cosby situation. As a psychologist, why would someone who could have all that consensual sex, why did he do it the way he did? And the psychologists have a fancy word for it. They call it paraphilia. It boils down that he gets highly aroused and reaches orgasm whenever he penetrates a nearly comatose, non-responsive sexual partner. Why doesn't he just try a Jewish woman? I didn't use that one in the funniest Jewish. He wouldn't need roofies, only aspirins, but that's another story. Anyway, this was not a good day for me. I found out I was unfriended. Not on Facebook, I read it in the obituaries. And also, this week, I woke up and my legs were very swollen. And the doctor said I should wear these compression stockings. And it got me thinking, this is another way that I'm different from young guys. They think of safe sex, I think of safe socks. They want the swelling to go up, I want it to go down. In 2 weeks, I'll be 83 years old. I'd rather have the time. And I'm not gonna lie to you, it comes with a lot of problems. And my biggest problem is, I happen to like older women. And where can I find a 95-year-old cougar? They're so hard to come by. And I want one with their own teeth. You know, none of this toothless cougar crap. But anyway, they seem to have vanished. I used to have no problem. I go to the nearest senior residence. I go to the day room. We call it the petting zoo. And, no problem. Just one more time, I want to hear somebody call me a boy toy. So, anyway, another problem at my age is when you're doing comedy, because I'm sorry to say it's not an equal playing field. I don't get treated the same way, first of all, by my fellow comics. I'll tell you what I mean. I did a show, and one of the young comics came up afterwards, and he complimented me, but in the most demeaning way. He said, 82 years old, God bless you. He said, I thought you were gonna suck. But you were funny. I said, I thought you were gonna suck, and I was right. And my friends and family, my friend's son said, maybe I'll come see you, because my new girlfriend likes old Jews. I told him, I know an old Jew that likes new girlfriends. And the young comics, the female comics, one of them said, would you like to be my sugar daddy? I said, I can't, I'm diabetic. But I wouldn't mind an occasional evening of splendor. And the problem is, I perform with comics that are so much younger than me, 50 years younger. There's even one that's 60 years younger than me. And I try to blend. You know, I hang out with them, we go for drinks. And some of the comics are becoming, the young comics are becoming a bad influence on me. The other day, one of them handed me a joint. And force of habit, I rubbed Bengay on it. I felt better, I felt a lot better. But I'll tell you the truth, I really cannot relate to the young comics, the male comics, because have you noticed? All their jokes about their penis. Everything is their penis. My penis this, my penis that. Ooh, my penis! You know, You know what's inscribed on mine? Best if used before 1995. My mother had a thing about shelf life of kosher products. And that's on good days. Most days it just says, best it. But you know, I could tell stories when I was younger. I was once told I was a sexual Superman. And I remember the exact words. She looked me straight in the eyes and said, "My God, you're faster than the speeding bullet." I was so pissed I got up from the bed, threw the money in her face, and I walked. I've got 3 advanced degrees, but I'm really getting an education once I entered the field of comedy, because I knew nothing about alternative sexual styles and different toys and gadgets. I thought dildo, all my life, I thought dildo was when you put your spare change in a pickle jar. Anyway, a little bit more about me. I grew up in Williamsburg, Brooklyn. And it was extremely cheap at that time, rent, and it was exclusively Jewish. I didn't know anyone that wasn't. So as a result, I knew nothing about other religions, even as a teenager. I thought Palm Sunday was what happened when you had no action on Saturday. Anybody else? And you'll never guess what I thought the resurrection was. And my family was Orthodox, and I only saw Jewish women for such a long time. Finally, later on, I saw Italian women, and they are so different from Jewish women, almost the opposite. For example, Italian women have fake jewelry and real orgasms. I didn't use that one in the funniest Jewish comment. My family was Orthodox, so they sent me to the yeshiva. And we were taught by Talmudic scholars. And they taught both English and Hebrew. And an English course would go like this. If a man steals an ox and he sells it to his neighbor for $6, but the ox is worth $12, this man is what we call an oxymoron. And the rabbi was somewhat dyslexic. He would walk around all day muttering, "Yo." Some of you will get it on your way home. I even went to the yeshiva high school. And in high school, we had a basketball team, but we didn't have those usual hobby cheerleaders because it was an all-boys school. But we managed to have cheerleaders. Our mothers volunteered. 4 little Jewish ladies. They made their own uniforms, and they even had a cheer. And it went like this. So give a big cheer for our yeshiva. Each girl here is a kosher beaver. All day long we say the brachas. You don't like it? Here's the duchess. We lost every game that year. But guess who won the national cheerleading title? Anyway, that was the yeshiva for me, and all the experiences of that. And finally, just one more thing I wanted to share with you. When I was, before I started doing comedy, I figured I'd watch to see how the big boys did it. And so I watched the HBO specials, and everybody rocked. All except one guy. He didn't get a laugh in a half hour. And he comes to the end of his set and he says, "Thank you for coming. My name is Brian Kernberg." Now, if you suck, why do you give your real name? I wouldn't do that. People were writing it down to make sure they never come see him again.